Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from ZurGrinoSports here, and today we are coming at you with the February 19th edition of Smackdown review. But quickly, before we get into the review, quick self-plug time. If you would like to support me in the channel, you can do so over at Patreon, first link in the description. If not, that's a-okay. Also, let me know what you guys thought of Smackdown down in the comments, and if at the end of the video you would like to subscribe because you like what I said in the review, you could do that. That would be awesome. I'm stuttering because I have had to pull an all-nighter. Yes, sir. Also, I have a Discord. The link will be in the description. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the review. So we started things off with an Edge promo. He said the typical thing that, you know, he's been saying and Rumble winners say, "Oh man, I got a lot of decisions to make. This is a big decision." Yeah. You know, it's commonplace. They haven't made their person, whatever. So he's got a lot of that going on. Drew or Roman, you know, Drew's defending in the chamber, Roman's defending at the chamber, and he says that Roman is making a smart move. He says that he has 13 possible opponents, so the 6 and the 6, and then Roman. It's the biggest decision of his career. Roman's music hits. He interrupts. He says that Edge doesn't have 13 to choose from because there's one to choose from. He can pick a main eventer or he can pick the main event. Edge says that Roman said last week that he saw fear in Edge's eyes. What he saw wasn't fear. He saw a guy who was playing him like a fiddle, and he doesn't even know it. Basically, Edge says whoever Edge chooses is the main event. So Roman needs Edge to choose him to be the main event. He sees somebody who's insecure in Roman. Roman got too much too soon and is cracking under the pressure, and it's not even pressure that Edge is applying. So Edge could kind of expose the dent in his armor, and he wants Roman to really, truly think long and hard about if that's something he wants. Sammy's music hits. He comes out. He says it's bad enough the management disrespects him, but now two of the biggest stars of the history of WWE are disrespecting him. You know what I mean? He says that they're so focused on each other that they're overlooking stuff. He says that management didn't want him in the chamber, but he forced his way in, and, you know, that should be concerning to Roman. He says that Edge is the ultimate opportunist, but, you know, Sammy himself is a master strategist, so, you know, that should be concerning to Edge. He says that he's going to go to Mania. He's like, hey, come get this shot. He motions to the WWE cameras at first, and then he's like, no, I don't trust you guys. My crew, come over here. I'm going to point to the WrestleMania sign because I'm going, blah, 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 running his mouth. Jay super kicks him. And then the best part of this promo happened, which I really, really enjoyed. Roman hands the shit that he has in his hands to Paul, the microphone and the championship. Shows his hands to Edge. He's like, listen, look, see, I'm not doing anything. Slowly puts them behind his back, gets close to Edge, and then like speaks directly into his ear so nothing gets picked up on the mics or anything like that, and then backs away out of the ring. And Edge looks like really, he's got like an intense look, like whatever Roman said to him, which will be revealed eventually, I think, you know, whatever Roman said to him like struck a nerve or struck a chord or something, because Edge is obviously affected by it. By the way, I really do think that they're going to do Edge and Roman for Mania, because, you know, if you're building towards Roman so much, it would be a waste of build to have Edge turn around and go face Drew. You know what I mean? If you're having Roman say something in his ear to this and that, whatever, I'm gonna have a predictions video out later, which I'll talk about some long-term predictions as well as Elimination Chamber predictions later on today, probably at nighttime. So yeah, I'll cover that more later on, but yeah, that was the promo. Good way to start SmackDown. I think it got the point across to I mean, Edge got his shtick across as the Rumble winner who hasn't chosen yet. Roman got his thing across as the guy who is saying, "Hey, I am the choice. You better pick me." We got a cool Sammy thing. Jay's like, "Get out of here, man." It's kind of like the fuck out of here with your bullshit guy. And then we got some more of Roman just being fucking fantastic with the showing his hands and making Edge know he's not going in for a threat kind of thing. Then we had Apollo versus Shinsuke. I was going into this kind of not skeptical, but just kind of like I'm going to tell you right now, I like the segment overall, and we'll get to it because I really like the segment by the end of it. However, the only downside I will give to this segment, Apollo versus Shinsuke and the fallout from it, is that Shinsuke is the third wheel in this feud. When they had Shinsuke have that great gauntlet performance, and then nothing. Shinsuke really should be in the chamber over a guy like Corbin and over a guy like Sammy, personally. So, small downside, I guess, or big downside considering it is Shinsuke and, he's a third wheel in this feud. But we had Apollo versus Shinsuke. Big E was ringside. The white leather couch is back out. He had like a fucking TV dinner, like Hungry Man shit. He had his feet in like a foot spa kind of thing, living the life. I love Big E's presentation, man. They're doing such a good job with Big E. He's the carefree, guy who's just vibing, who's just enjoying life. He likes to be light. He likes to, be playful, make jokes and shit like that. But when shit gets serious, like he can flip the switch like that, and it's just so incredible. The way they're presenting him is so well, and it's just he does that so well that all they have to do is shine the light on his strengths, which is what they're doing with their presentation, and it's great. They're doing a great job with Big E. As my watch hits my desk, apologies if that got picked up by the mic. If not, then I brought attention to something that I didn't need to. We had an Apollo pre-match interview in Gorilla about if he has, Intercontinental title, if his Intercontinental title aspirations have affected his friendship with Big E. Apollo says that he's always respected Big E, but Big E never respected him. And, if Big E... he says that he comes from Nigerian royalty, and if Big E had disrespected them the way he disrespects Apollo, he would have gotten, fucking like beaten to death or something for it. I don't know. But he would have gotten, there would have been repercussions. So then the match starts. At some point before a commercial break, Apollo throws Nakamura onto Big E on the couch, and Big E gets up and he's like, "Stop playing. And he was like happy-go-lucky on the couch like the second before, and then Shinsuke gets thrown into him and he hits that switch immediately, stop playing, and it's believable, which is fantastic. Shinsuke ended up beating Apollo with a roll-up. The match itself was fine for the length. It was a little bit short, but the quality of the match was good for the time that they were allotted. I mean, it's Apollo who's great and Shinsuke who's great, so well, what do you expect? However, Apollo attacks Shinsuke after the match. And he attacks him in the ring, and he sends him to the outside to ringside, and then he goes to grab the steel steps to hit Shinsuke. Big E gets in between them. He's like, "Listen, this is done. Walk away. Don't do this. It's over. This is done. Walk away." And then Apollo puts down the steps, seeming to be like, "Okay, whatever, this is done." Big E turns around to go check on Shinsuke. Apollo picks the steps back up. Boom, hits Big E and Shinsuke with the steps. Clotheslines Shinsuke into the crowd area. And then, you know what I mean? Pretty much has gone full heel. He kind of like... stands over, like crouches over Big E, saying like, "Oh, this ain't over until I say it's over." You know what I mean? He throws the steps into the ring. He throws Big E into the ring, and then he lifts the steps to go to hit Big E. The ref gets in the way. He's like, no, 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 don't do this, don't do this. Put them down, put them down. Big E at this point had rolled outside back to ringside, and then Apollo light bulb flicks in his head, and it's like, oh, you want me to put him down? Okay, walks over to the ropes and just drops the steps onto where Big E would be. Obviously, they didn't actually have that happen before, you know, anybody gets the idea to be like, oh, well, actually, obviously that didn't actually happen, but they're in a position where they don't have, you know, fans there. They can play with camera angles, and it makes Apollo look like a sick son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Dropping the steps on a dude. It's fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this. Other than the fact, again, that Shinsuke is a third wheel in this feud, I've really, really enjoyed the full-on heel turn from Apollo, because last week, I think it was, that Apollo just kind of like did the whole dropkick shtick, you know, during yeah, it was last week during Shinsuke versus Big E for the championship in the Open Challenge, and he got interfered. And I was saying last week that if that was a heel turn, it wasn't enough. They needed to do something more, a little bit more with it to make it a good heel turn. And if it wasn't a heel turn, it was kind of weird to have a face do that. They did a whole lot more for that heel turn this week, brother. He is definitely a heel now. They were teasing it, I guess, in the backstage promo, because the way he was speaking, the way he cut the promo in the interview was heelish, but not like full on heel. It was kind of like, you know, teetering onto turning heel. And then like with the post-match assault and shit like that, fantastic heel turn. Great use of camera angles and using the fact that there are no fans to do the step spot, because that step spot was fantastic. Makes Apollo look like a monster, which is good. Big E is going to have a huge comeback, whether it be next week or the week after or whenever it may be. I don't know how long they're going to write him off for. But fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Loved it. Big E was getting stretchered out of the arena when we came back from commercial. So obviously they had they have him selling that pretty well. Then we had a Seth promo, and Seth comes out for the promo while Big E's getting stretchered. He says that what happened to Big E is a tragedy. He got betrayed, and Seth would know something about betrayal. You know, when everybody betrayed him last week, all of his friends at ringside. He suffered emotional trauma, and he's still suffering, and it is unacceptable, and it is unacceptable to happen in the worst workplace. So him and his lawyer have taken legal action. It's pending, but he's going to win. Months went into his return, and it was ruined by losers and cowards because they were afraid and they wanted to divide us, meaning, you know, those who have embraced the vision. But the biggest loser of them all was Cesaro. Cesaro made it about him. He disrespected Seth, and you know, referring to what happened to Cesaro, Seth is kind of like washing his hands clean of that. He's saying he brought it on himself, kind of thing. And the same fate will happen to anybody else who disrespects Seth Rollins like that. Again, embrace the vision. Because, you know, the people who have embraced the vision, they are the winners. Embrace the vision. So what I'm gonna say about Seth Rollins right now is gonna be based on is gonna, you know, be influenced by the fact that I didn't watch from October 2019 to October 2020 the WWE, besides some pay-per-views here and there. What I've been seeing on Twitter is that people are saying that he's kind of recycling stuff, and that the Messiah gimmick was good at the beginning and has gotten stale. Now, I thought the promo was great, and I'm not a Seth guy. I'm not a big fan of Seth, honestly. He can wrestle, fantastic, yeah. But I've never really been a fan of him as a full package, I guess. I like the Authority run. And the authority, you know, like I really liked the nasally heel Seth. You know, I liked that when he turned on Shield and stuff like that. But whenever they turned him face, I didn't like it. He's too just the way he carries himself doesn't really rub off on me as a face. The heel shit that he's doing right now with the Messiah and buying into himself, that honestly seems like how he is in person based off of social medias and stuff like that. So I think it's believable. Especially because he's putting good work into the attire that he's wearing in the gimmick, because like the one glove with the open suit jacket showing his bare chest, but the suit jacket's a fucking atrocity and also a brilliant suit jacket at the same time. Like his presentation is good. I thought the promo was good. It got across what it needed to get across. So for me, the gimmick's not stale. Well, it is, because it's pretty much the straight edge society, but not so much. But yeah, so for me, it's not stale, so I'm going to say it's good. If it is true that this is what he was doing, in fucking like January, February last year kind of thing, when he first did the Messiah gimmick going into Mania and all that stuff, if that's true of that, if he's been doing the same shit and he's kind of just gotten stale, then fair play if you think that. Granted, since I have not seen that, and this is the first I'm really seeing of the Messiah gimmick, I think he's performing it well. I thought the promo was good. It got across what it needed to get across. It was fine. So I'm going to give this a thumbs up, I guess, which is, I don't really do a thumbs up, thumbs down thing. I'm not Simon from Walt Culture, but yeah. So I enjoyed it. It's building towards him and Cesaro, which again, in my Elimination Chamber predictions, I'll predict how I think that's going to go at Mania. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought it was fine. I liked it. I could see if that is, again, if that is what he's been doing the whole time and he hasn't really evolved it, fair enough. I could see why you'd find that stale, but for me, it's fresh because I didn't see the original shit. So, yeah, for me, it's been good. Also, he came out, the way he cut the promo is he came out on the top of the stage and he was addressing the crowd, even though there wasn't a crowd, which just plays into the delusion of his character, which I loved. It was a nice way of cutting the promo. Instead of him getting in the ring and cutting it to the hard cam, he was cutting it to the electronic, like to the video fans, you know what I mean? Like the Thunderdome camera fan people. They had a quick thing with Edge and KO backstage, or Kevin Owens, I guess, where Edge says, he likes Kevin Owens because if he gets knocked down, he gets back up just like Edge. Kevin Owens says, you know what, Edge, if there is anyone like me, it is you. The only thing that Kevin Owens can think of right now is winning the Chamber and beating Roman, and Edge wishes him good luck, and he says it would be nice to face him at Mania. He means it. And yeah, I think they might be teasing a Kevin Owens heel turn, just based on how Kevin Owens was speaking, and we'll cover on that a little bit as well later, because there was another way that they kind of teased it a little bit, I think, which would be fine. They had another quick shot of Biggie on the stretcher getting into the ambulance kind of shtick. Then came the biggest fucking mindfuck numbskull bullshit that they did tonight. Maybe, but I think honestly, this was the only thing I really had a problem with tonight. You know what I mean? The Shinsuke thing, I'm not too happy about, but if it's just like a momentary thing and then he gets like a little main event push down the line, whatever, this was just shit. So we had Riot Squad versus Tamina and Natalya, tag team match. The match is fine for the amount of time that they're allotted. The match is good. I mean, Ruby's good. Natalya is good. Liv is really good. And Tamina's alive. But, at some point in the match, Billie Kay comes down. Liv's kind of like okay with her. She's like, oh, hey, nice outfit, because she's wearing like cat ears or something. But Ruby, who's the legal competitor, is trying to start a fight with her. And then she's like, oh, come in here. And then Billy's like, oh, yeah, I'll come up there. And she's like, don't fucking come up here, you piece of shit. And she's like, oh, okay. And then distraction pretty much leads to a fucking Tamina hot tag. A Tamina hot tag. Fucking why? Why are you making Tamina the hot tag? Fucking hell. She ends up pinning Ruby. Billy goes in to celebrate with Natalya and Tamina afterwards, to which Tamina super kicks Billy Kay. Why are you giving Tamina a pinfall victory over anybody, let alone Ruby Riott, in the year 2021? Why? It doesn't, like, I don't understand it. Ruby and Liv should be the tag team champions, right? Out of the teams that they have right now, it should be them. But they have to go job to fucking Tamina and Natalya? Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that Jimmy Snuka was her dad, right? And that's cool and stuff, but she's shit. And my biggest fucking fear is that they're going to do a slow build to build her up and associate her with Roman to add a female member to Roman's, like, cabinet. Which, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, Roman's kind of got a little bit of a JBL 2004, 2005 thing going on, kind of. Not in terms of, like, the exact same thing, but, like, remember when JBL, introduced his, cabinet? Where he had his chief of staff, Orlando Jordan, and then his defense, which was the Bashams and shit like that. And then he had, I think it was Joy Giovanni or somebody, one of them, one of the Diva Search people, as, the female, like, consultant or something like that. You remember that? If you're old like me, yeah. It kind of, if they were, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of that, because he has, like, Jay as, like, his problem solver, which is actually what Tomko was for Christian, but he has, like, Jay as like, a problem solver. He has counsel in Paul Heyman, which I guess would have been Joy Giovanni. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've been watching 2005 pay-per-views recently, so I'm remembering a lot of stuff and rewatching a lot of stuff from 2005, so maybe it's just because I recently watched it and I'm equating it, but yeah, my biggest concern is that they're going to build Tamina up to align with Roman, and then she's going to beat Bianca for the championship after she wins it at Mania. So hope to fuck they don't do that, because that would be fucking garbage. The fact that she fucking won today or tonight or last night, whatever the fuck, was garbage. If you've been watching these reviews since I've started doing them, you'll know that I really, 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 really do not like or rate or value Tamina on that roster. Like, fair play, you're there, but why are you there? This could have been the perfect opportunity to give Riot Squad a win. You know what I mean? Have Billy Kay come down, be like, oh, you know what? Riot Squad doesn't want me. I'm going to go with them. And then cost them the match. There you go. Speaking of Billy Kay, what a good decision to split her up from Peyton, huh? Which apparently the reason for the split was to give Peyton a singles push. I wonder what happened to that. WWE lying to their talent about what they're going to do so that they renew or agree to certain booking decisions, and then taking their word back? No. That couldn't possibly be WWE. This has me so fucking upset, man. Just the fucking all of it. All of it. The fact that Riot Squad aren't tag team champions and that they're booked to lose every goddamn fucking week. The fact that Tamina's getting a pinfall victory over people who should be winning in 2021. The fact that Natalya is part of a winning tag team with Tamina in 2021 when Natalya, yeah, fair play. You're fucking incredible in the ring. Like, I'm not going to take that away from you because you're a fucking, you're a technician in there. Fucking good job. You can fucking wrestle really well. Fair play. I'm going to say it in an angry way, but I'm very much so complimenting you. You're fantastic, okay? But, like, brother, a sheet of paper has more charisma, man. Like, fucking, I don't... And Billy's just being wasted. Like the resume gimmick was good at the beginning, and then they just kind of fucking ran it into the ground by doing meaningless bullshit, getting people who should be winning losses. It's such a bad fucking, just the whole lot of it. All of it. Riot Squad losing shit. Tamina and Natalya winning shit. Fucking Billy being, you know, utilized less and less and getting diminished. Shit. All of it. Luckily, the rest of SmackDown was good, and this was the only low point, but what a fucking low point it is, man. Holy, I'm so upset. I'm so pissed off. Anyways, Edge and Corbin backstage was what happened next. Corbin says that, you feel this? This feels like a Mania main event. And you know what, Edge, you made your name on SmackDown, but it's my kingdom now, so I'll give you some advice. When someone comes by you with a $10,000 suit and a $39,000 timepiece, you bow down. Edge is like, oh, you got a timepiece? Me too, look. And then he pulls out his phone. He's like, oh, look, here's the time. It's 8:15 or 8:45 or whatever the fuck he said it was. 8:54 or some shit like that. I actually forget what actual time it was. It wouldn't have been 8:15. All of what I just said didn't happen in 15 minutes. It would have been like 8:45 or something. It was before 9 o'clock, though. I do know that. And he's like, oh, look, it has a camera, too. And he took snapshots of it. And I saw on Twitter that the WWE account posted the pictures that he took. And they're fucking hilarious. And Corbin walks away and stuff like that. Corbin seems kind of lost right now. Obviously, they had the plans to do the Knights of the Lone Wolf thing. And then that didn't pan out. He seems a little bit lost right now because he was like doing the Mysterios thing, which isn't really happening anymore, and he doesn't have enough momentum to, you know, warrant being in the chamber, but he's in the chamber. He's in a weird limbo right now. I hope they figure out how to kind of like reel him back in, just because he's really good. I can't say it enough. Like, he's just a really good heel. You know what I mean? So hopefully they can find something to do with him to kind of like reel shit back in. We had Ding Dong Hello with Shayna and Nia as guests. Bayley knocked over one of her potted plants when she opened her door to start off the segment. Nia and Shayna did the whole double door thing when two people are trying to get through a door and they're both like, oh, you know, after you, and then they both try and get in and they can't squeeze in, and then they back out and they're like, what, brother, I said you should go. No, I said you should go. And they're like, okay, you go. And then, you know what I mean? They did that whole shtick, which was funny. Bayley, Nia said, like, thanks for having us on. Hope you're not mad about losing the tag titles to us. And Bayley's like, no, I'm not mad about losing those tag titles. You know, that caused me to get rid of Sasha, and I found myself, you know, 380-day reign, blah, 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 got rid of Sasha. And then Nia's like, oh, yeah, Sasha's shit. And then Shayna's like, oh, but no. You know, Bianca's worse. And then Nia's like, no, Sasha's worse. Then Reginald comes out. My boy Reggie the sommelier. I remembered the word this week, thank fuck. He won't let them slander the good name of Sasha. He calls Sasha like a really expensive wine, and then calls Nia and Shayna some fucking cheap boxed garbage. I don't drink alcohol, brother, okay? I don't know what fucking wine is good and what's not good, all right? I'm not the target audience for that. You know, so when he gets into the ring, he fixes the plant. Bayley's asking him to use the door, but he doesn't, unfortunately. But I do like her trying to push people to use the door. I like that a lot. he says that Sasha is the best champion in the world or some shit like that. And she said that, and he says that if she were to team up with Bianca, they'd beat Nia and Shayna for the titles. Bianca comes out, not Bianca, sorry, Sasha comes out, says don't speak for me to Reggie. She says that she's the boss, so she's like the star of the division, and Bianca's gonna pick her because the division revolves around her. Bianca comes out, and says, "Fuck, what did she say? What did she say? She said something about like she's the star of the division since she won the Rumble, and the division doesn't revolve around Bianca. She just beats everybody in the division, kind of thing. I think I worded that kind of shitty kind of, but the gist of it. Basically, her and Sasha are doing the whole like I'm gonna compliment you, but I don't mean it because I'm better than you motherfucker. One of those kind of things. They're doing one of those. And Sasha's kind of teasing like the heel side. Granted, ever since she's been face, she's been heel. The way she speaks or the way she's written is definitely a heel, just kind of like masquerading as a face. At least that's what I'm kind of getting on from it. But anyways, Bianca is about to talk about, a WrestleMania, and then Reggie's like, yo, hold on. Yo, time out. Listen, okay? We're on the same page here. It's them you should be, fighting. So how about the three of us take on the three of you? Bailey's like, I know you're not talking about me, Reggie. Also, Bailey asked both Sasha and Bianca to use the door when they got in, and they didn't, which was sad, which was great because Bailey was like, come on, man. Like, the way she sold it was great. I've said before that I'm not the biggest fan of Bailey. She's winning me over, man. Honestly, I didn't like the Karen gimmick at first. I didn't really like the ding dong hello stuff at first, but honestly, it's growing on me, and I'm liking it more and more every week. So fair play to her. But yeah, so and then Nia basically demands a ref to come out there, and then we come back from commercial, and we have Sasha, Bianca, and Reggie, your boy Reginald, Young Reg, versus Bailey, Shayna, and Nia. Bailey is wrestling in her just dress attire that she was wearing for the hosting Ding Dong Hello. The match itself was okay for the time allotted, and given that it had Nia Jax in it. The finishing sequence was a little bit weird, though. Nia went for a leg drop, missed it. She sold her hole, but commentary didn't sell her hole. So I don't know if maybe she got heat for the whole thing, or if like that's like the only good thing she's done on in WWE. Nia, like saying my hole when she fucking leg dropped the apron. Like that's literally the only good thing she's done in the company since she's debuted in the company. So I don't know why they're trying to like kill that already, but I mean, fair enough. Anyways, she does the leg drop. She goes for the tag to Shayna because Bailey is on the opposite end of the ring. I think she'd taken a bump or something, or taken a dive or some shit like that. I can't really remember. But anyways, Nia's going for the tag. Bianca and Sasha pull down Shayna, and they beat the fuck out her, kind of thing. Nia's looking on. Nia turns around into Reggie trying some flippy spinning shit, but he gets caught. She turns around into Bianca. They're both B names. Bianca and Sasha, who drop kick her while Reggie's caught by her in kind of like a fall away slam kind of holding position. And then she gets drop kicked by both of them. 1, 2, 3. She kicks out on 3, like through Reggie's legs, but it is a 3 count. And then Reggie, Sasha, and Bianca get the win. Bianca and Sasha are celebrating. Sasha keeps saying, "You're welcome" for that to Bianca, and she's like, "Oh no, you're welcome," kind of thing. So they keep on doing the whole like, "Yeah, you fuck are you? We're friends. I hope you die," kind of thing. They're doing that, which I honestly I like, because like, yeah, they were friends. Sure, they were friends and they like each other before, you know, Bianca got a title opportunity, but they have no reason to be friends anymore. You know what I mean? If you have a working relationship, a working friendship with somebody, and then that somebody now has an opportunity to take away what is making your life as good as it is for Sasha with the livelihood that she's being able to provide for herself and her husband, and they don't have kids. I don't think they absolutely don't have kids because she hasn't taken a maternity leave from wrestling, unless they adopt. But I don't know about that. Anyways, basically, you win more. Just basic sports. If you're the champion, you earn more money. If somebody who's your friend, but not like a lifelong friend, just like a, hey, yeah, I like you, you're cool, we're similar, kind of, we vibe. If they have an opportunity to take that away from you, you're not going to be fully like, oh yeah, I love you. You're going to be like, ha, I love you, but don't cross me, or I'll twist you like a pretzel, brother. You know what I mean? So like, I really like that they're doing that. You know what I mean? Which is cool to kind of delay her choosing. You know what I mean? I will say that the finish is not a good one, just because it makes whoever receives the finish weak. However, on the flip side, fuck Nia Jax. I don't care if she's made to look weak. I love the finish. If it were Shayna, I would have been pissed, brother. If it were Bayley, I would have been pissed. Because it's Nia, I don't give a fuck. Make her look weak. She's garbage. She shouldn't be on TV. Fuck it. I don't care. Good shit. I love Reginald. I feel like maybe they incorporated him, and then they gave him that one thing to do, and then he just kind of really impressed, and they're like, oh, let's think of more shit to do. I feel like he's one of those cases where it was like, hey, he's going to be like a minimal thing, and then he showcased one little thing, and they're like, oh, you can do that? Can you do this? And then they keep giving him more and more, which I think is pretty cool. I don't really understand the whole him simping for Sasha thing. I mean, I feel like it probably will be a ruse to get Carmella another shot before Mania and before Bianca goes to Mania. I just don't really think that's necessary because like Carmella doesn't need another loss. You've already taken away all of her momentum that you gave her with the repackage, which was a fantastic repackage. I don't know. But yeah. That was fine, honestly. I would have complained about it if it was Shayna taking the pin, because it was a shitty finish, because it's not enough to finish somebody. Honestly, it's a worse finish just objectively, because Nia, especially out of all the three, shouldn't really be being beat by a dude who weighs like a quarter of her weight being drop kicked onto her. You know what I mean? Then again, nothing, actually. I was going to say then again she's selling her hole, but like a whole minute or two went by between the hole and reaching for the tag and Shayna getting pulled off the rope and beat down to him being caught, and then, you know what I mean? Like, enough time passed that was a non-factor. So objectively, it's awful, the finish. But because it's Nia, I don't give a fuck. I love the finish. So yeah. They had a Cesaro backstage interview where he was asked about Seth. He says that he wasn't patronizing or disrespecting Seth. He was actually out there to respect Seth, and he was out there hoping to see a changed Seth, but he's the same, you know, and you know, it was unfortunate, but he's the same guy. He's not the leader that Cesaro knows he can be. He hasn't changed at all. He's the same guy. He says he hasn't forgotten about Seth's attack last week, and he'll get back at him for that. But for now, he's focused on building momentum to win. You know, the chamber, and then win the championship. Edge shows up. And pretty much compliments Cesaro, and he's like, hey, you know, I'll see you in the main event of Mania, brother. Which would be, you know, it would be a fucking fantastic match. I don't think that's where they're going with it, obviously, but yeah, I'm loving the Cesaro push. I'm loving them giving him time to speak and stuff like that. I think they probably should have aired his Talking Smack promo on the actual programming this week. That is something that I think that they maybe missed out on a little bit, because that promo was just so full of passion, and it's just, if that doesn't get you over to people, you don't, like, come on. They are at fault if that doesn't get you over to somebody. Seeing somebody in a environment like that with so much passion, still after being fucking held down for that long, and he still has that much passion, it's remarkable, man. Holy fuck. He has to be the guy to beat Roman. He has to. He has to. Not at Mania, which I'll get to in my Elimination Chamber predictions thing later. But like, he has to be the one. It can't be Edge. It can't be anybody. It has to be Cesaro down the line. It just has to. It has to. But anyways, then we had Rey and Dom versus Alpha Academy. The Dirty Dogs were on commentary with red Solo cups. The match itself was a little bit too short, I guess you could say, but it was fine for the length that it was. The finish came when Otis did a standing splash, and then Gable's like, no, that's not how I taught you. That's not how I taught you. And he gets in the ring. Dom gets in the ring. He gets kind of, brushed aside kind of thing. And Gable's in the ring. He's not the legal man. He's telling Otis how to do it. He's like, hey, that's not how I taught you. Do it the way I taught you. You got to hit the ropes, Otis. Remember, I taught you hit the ropes. Meanwhile, the ref is doing the 5 count, because I saw so many people on Twitter asking why the match was stopped. And I don't know if it's because they weren't paying attention or because they don't know the rules of wrestling. If you don't know the rules of a wrestling tag match, fucking just educate yourself so you don't look like a fucking, the tag team wrestling rules clearly state, right? I sound like such a fucking stooge. The rules of tag team wrestling clearly state that the non-legal tag team partner can't be in the ring for more than a 5 count, or else it's a disqualification. It's similar to holding a submission while somebody's in the ropes, you get a 5 count. It's similar to beating down on somebody in the corner, you get a 5 count. It's the 5 count rule for disqualification adapted to tag team wrestling to make it so you can't just have 2 people beating on one guy if that were to, happen. You can't legally have that happening. There's a 5 count to get out of the ring if you're the non-legal man. So Gable gets in the ring, and he's ignoring the count pretty much to tell Otis to do it the way he taught him. He gets counted to 5. Otis hits the ropes and does a splash, and then Gable's like, yeah, that's my guy, yeah. And he's like, okay, now do it this way. And then they drag Rey. Rey is the one who's being splashed, by the way. Oh, I said Dom came in and got brushed aside, so I guess that was implied, but I didn't explicitly say it. Anyways, they drag Rey over to the corner. Otis gets onto like the middle rope and then hits the splash from there. And then he like does like a big like roar and like flex kind of thing. And then Gable's like, yeah, that's my guy. Ziggler was great on commentary just because he does not give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. You could tell he went out there and he paid no mind to anything story related. He didn't give a fuck about anything. He's like, what the fuck? Why are they doing that? What the fuck? He was pretty much openly voicing his opinions on the booking within character. Ziggler on commentary was fucking incredible. I loved it. But anyways, I don't know if that was a full-on heel turn for Otis and Gable. I will have to wait and see next week, because like it was a heel turn based on the actions taken, but also it wasn't really Otis doing it. It wasn't him like snapping like Apollo did earlier and just like fucking wrecking house. It was him being like, it was Gable being like, yo, do it this way, and then him being like, are you sure? Okay, yeah, no, yeah, you're my teacher. Okay, I'll listen. And then bada boom, bada bang. So you know what I mean? It might be them as a tandem turning heel. I think they did a Twitter exclusive or a WWE.com exclusive where Gable was talking about how they see Tag Team Gold in their future. My issue with that is if you want them to have Tag Team Gold in their future, why give them a loss? Then again, you know what? I'll take that back for now, because SmackDown's actually kind of good at paying off stuff, typically, sort of, not Riot Squad stuff and Billy Kay stuff, unfortunately, but maybe the story that they're trying to tell is, you know, them doing it the right way wasn't getting them anywhere. Otis finally listening to Gable and doing things the Gable way, you know, aka the heel way, is going to get them a win over Ray and Dom, is going to get them a win over Street Profits, is going to get them a win over somebody else. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the story that they're going to tell with that, to get a tag team opportunity for them. They had Ray selling the splashes after they came back from commercial. He was getting helped up the ramp by a ref and Dominic, and he was like wheezing and shit like that. Call him Carl, because he be wheezing, you know. Jimmy Neutron, hell yeah. If you watch that, fucking shout out to you, brother. Yeah, that was fine. I do want them to do something with Gable, not specifically Otis. I think I made my thoughts clear on Otis either last week or the week before. I think the storyline got him over as opposed to him getting himself over. I think it was just a really, really well done storyline. He performed really well in the storyline, but I mean, he's always had a ceiling, and the ceiling wasn't high. It was a low-hanging ceiling. It was, you know, mid-card, and I don't mean like Intercontinental Champion, US Champion mid-card. I mean like just mid-card. Or a tag team. As a tag team champion, absolutely. With Tucker, you know, that was a good tag team. Shame WWE broke them up and then put Otis into another tag team randomly. Although I like the idea of the Gable Academy, or sorry, the Alpha Academy. I do like the idea of the Alpha Academy. I like elements of how it's been done so far. But just, you had such an organic tag team. You could have just returned the tag team action after the Mandy and Otis and Dana and Dolph shit. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to have Tucker be like, "Oh, you got a WrestleMania match," and I have no idea what the fuck he said when he turned heel on him, because I wasn't watching when it happened. I wasn't watching the product when it happened, so I have no idea what he based as his reasoning. But like, when you look at Heavy Machinery, you could tell that they were tag guys. Some tag teams, you can look at them and you can tell that there's no Jannetty and there's no Michaels. There's two Jannettis. Some tag teams you can look at and see there's two Shawn Michaels. Some, you know, there's a Jannetty and there's a Shawn Michaels. But Heavy Machinery was one of those tag teams where it was two Jannettis. And that's harsh to say, sure. But tell me right now, do you see Otis being a champion, a singles champion? And I don't mean 24/7, because that doesn't count. Do you look at Otis as a singles guy and see a US champion, an Intercontinental champion, a Universal champion, or a WWE champion? Because I don't. And that's not me like trying to shit on him. It's just, he's just not cut out for it. The tag team was perfect for him and for Tucker. Heavy Machinery was great. They should have just kept them together. They should have just kept American Alpha together back then. You know what I mean? Because they were fantastic. WWE just has this thing, like, I understand splitting up a tag team. Excuse me. If you want to give one of the guys or girls, if it's a female tag team, a significant push, you want to have them feud against each other to kind of set them off their separate ways if you see singles potential there. But breaking up a tag team for the sake of breaking it up for like cheap pops or cheap little like 1 month build to a 1 month fucking kickoff show match, why? You know what I mean? If you're going to split the tag team, do it for the long term so you can have them fully break off. Don't do it so you can put them back into a tag team a couple months later. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, it was whatever. We had an Edge and Bryan little backstage thing where Edge says that he should be, he wants to thank Bryan because seeing Bryan get his career back kind of, got Edge thinking, maybe I can get mine back. Bryan says that he's going to choose, Bryan says to choose him if Edge were to, Bryan says if he were to win the Chamber, Edge should choose him. There we go. I worded it properly. I found a way. Some might say that's a dream match, long overdue. But yeah, so we got a little bit of that going on. Then we had a little backstage thing with Kevin Owens, Bryan, Cesaro backstage. Kevin Owens walks up to them. He's like, "Hey, you guys want to discuss strategy for tonight?" And Bryan and Cesaro were like, "Yeah, we did about what to do if you randomly stunned us. If we were, what would happen if we were to receive a stunner kind of thing." And then they're like, "Oh, but we don't have to worry about that. Kevin Owens never turns on anybody. He's never turned on this person, this person, this person." I forget who they actually specifically mentioned, and I didn't write it down because they were kind of speaking quickly. But there was a Jericho reference because Bryan was listing them off. Him and Cesaro were listing them off, and then Bryan's like, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Maybe I should have made a list. I love that. That's so, because the Festival of Friendship, which actually happened this month, I think, or last month, it recently happened. It was recent that it happened. The whole Festival of Friendship, and I just you wouldn't be able to talk about Kevin Owens not, Festival of Friendship was fantastic, by the way. You wouldn't be able to talk about him turning on somebody without mentioning Jericho, but Jericho's in AEW, so you can't mention Jericho. But guess what? The list, people will get that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Absolutely. Well received. Basically, Kevin Owens explains himself by saying that, when he got into the ring last week, he saw those two in the ring and it looked like they were coming at him, so he decided he was going to strike first and not, have them strike him. But he says that he really wants to win the Chamber. He really wants to win the match tonight so they don't have to worry about a stunner tonight at all. And then he kind of goes off screen. He comes back up and he's like, Sunday, though. Sunday, you might have to worry about a stunner. Or two. Or three. Or four, maybe four kind of thing. So, and then Cesaro's like, at least he's honest. So, yeah, I liked that. I liked what they were doing with the backstage stuff this week because it was nice and short and to the point. It wasn't too long or too short, you know what I mean? It wasn't like rambling, but it wasn't like, and then done. It was just quick and to the point, and it was just really well done. I liked what they were doing with Edge. You know what I mean? They could have done a similar thing on Raw, but then again, you'd have too many similarities between the shows. Again, Edge going by every single member on SmackDown, I think, is another indicator of him picking the SmackDown side for Mania. But I liked what they had going with Edge this week because Edge talking to each of them, and Sammy, obviously, he had the promo within the ring, so I guess he started off with Sammy then. But Edge going backstage to everybody in the Chamber and talking to them about, hey, perform in the Chamber, except for Jay, I guess, because him and Jay were in the ring, I guess, with Sammy at the time. But the baby face is pretty much him and then Corbin singling him out. You know what I mean? Because Edge came up to the other three and then Corbin singled him out kind of thing. I liked what they did with Edge tonight. Last night, what the fuck? I don't know. At some point in time in the recent past. And then we had a Carmella and Reginald backstage thing where he brings her some wine. She asks what the delay was. He says, "Oh, I had to temperature it and curate it and warm it up in the microwave for you." Bro, I don't fucking, like I said, I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink wine. I don't know what the fuck you do with wine, brother. It looks like a liquid. I'd assume you drink it. I don't know about all this fucking serving temperature bullshit. I don't know about any about that. But he was giving excuses saying that it had to be perfect. She said, "Oh, that's what we're doing. Oh, that's what we're doing. You think I didn't see you go out there?" And he's like, "Listen, sorry, it's not like that." She's like, "Oh, don't worry. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. She did a funny thing where she like when he was trying to like back out of the lie, she like did the whole like finger on the lips thing, but she was like shh. And then every time she like made a noise to say like stop talking or shush or whatever, she would lift her finger and place it again in like quick succession. It was just kind of funny. She said that she wasn't mad. She knows that Reginald will do the right thing in the end. She goes to drink the wine. She spits it out. She's like, ew, you serving me this disgusting shit right there. Throws it in his face and tells him to get her another wine. And then we had the main event of the evening, which was Cesaro, Bryan, and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. Main event, Jey Uso, might I remind you, who, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful on Twitter, who's a good follow, by the way, honestly, one of the most credible reporters, I think, in wrestling. So, yeah, he's really good to follow if you want to keep up to date with stuff. I don't even know him or anything. I saw him tweet because he has stats that he tweets, and I just thought, hey, I see a dude doing good work. I'll yeah. Anyways, apparently he hasn't won a match since November. Like November 6th, I think it was. And that trend did not break tonight. You know what I mean? But anyways, 6-man tag. The match got okay time for a 6-man tag. It was good. There was a cool little moment during Cesaro's entrance where he, went to Sammy's documentary crew and he's like, hey, make sure you get this. I'm going to beat the fuck out of him. So I just went like, how great is that? And that's just Cesaro being allowed to be Cesaro. I don't think they told him to go do that. He probably just went out there and he's like, oh, this would be cool. I'm gonna go to his documentary crew and tell them how I'm gonna beat his ass. Like, and that's awesome. Edge was on commentary. After the first commercial during the match, Paul Heyman appeared on commentary. The match itself was good. They, I think, I might have been half paying attention, but I think Cesaro went for a swing that didn't look too right, so he's like, fuck it, I'm doing it right this time, and then went for it again kind of thing. But yeah, the match was good for the time allotted, and it was good. There are a lot of talented people in there. The finish though was fucking, oh brother, I need a fucking, I needed a minute to myself after the finish, brother. I'll tell you what, it was spicy. Bryan got a double underhook, like suplex off of the top rope onto Sami, and then didn't let go of the double underhooks and transitioned off of landing off the double underhook suplex from the top rope into the fucking yes lock to get the submission win over Sami. I don't really mind Sami losing because he can use it towards his conspiracy thing again. I think you could have done it with Corbin maybe taking a pin, but maybe they want to keep Corbin kind of strong for something after Chamber. I'm not really sure. But again, Sami with his whole conspiracy thing doesn't really need anything. I'm interested to see what they're going to do in the Chamber for his elimination to advance the conspiracy thing, because it can't be clean. Can it? Like, there has to be some element of, like, fuckery there. Like, maybe he kicks out at 3 and they count it as 3 or something. He's like, oh, look at this, fine margins. Like, 1/1,000,000th of a second I kicked out. I should have still been in, kind of thing. Like, that'd be good. He'd be able to put that over really well. Yeah. Great finish. I loved it. It was fucking phenomenal. And then Baron hits Bryan with an end of days as he's celebrating. He gets hit by a stunner. Sami does like the full Nelson like suplex thing. You know what I mean? Like you grab them in the full Nelson and bridge back like a German. He did that. Then he got hit with an uppercut. And then Cesaro got hit with a super kick. Then boom, spear by Edge to Jey. And then boom, spear by Roman to Edge. And Roman ends the show standing tall over Edge. And that was SmackDown. Very genuinely a really good SmackDown. SmackDown is good every week, and pretty much, and then that continued this week. I really enjoyed it. Once again, the Riot Squad stuff, fucking hated it. Hated it. Because they're not utilizing the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad are so good, man. They're so good. They're so good. You don't need to give a win to somebody who is never good and somebody who's fucking not over in the slightest in 2021. Her gimmick is being the boat. Because they didn't want to be too mainstream and say GOAT. So they have her saying the best of all time. I guess that's actually a play on best there ever was, best there ever will be, you know, best there is, best there was, whatever. But like, which was honestly, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, fire. Fire catchphrase by Bret Hart. I don't know if he came up with that himself or if that was written for him by creative, but fire. Boat, not so much. No, not so much. Not so much. Especially when you have to have somebody with as little charisma as her deliver it. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say that to, like, you know, be an asshole or anything. It's just true. Unfortunately, because, again, she is fantastic in the ring. She's fucking incredible in the ring. She just doesn't really have much charisma, which is unfortunate. But, yeah. That was SmackDown. One major disappointment for me. One major, you know, upsetting moment for me. Opening promo was good. I like the Seth stuff. I really, really like the Apollo heel turn. I'm going to go ahead and give it 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. I really enjoyed SmackDown this week. Yeah. 8 out of 5. 8 out of 5. Wow, I really enjoyed it. No, 8.5 out of 10, I think, is what I'll end up giving SmackDown for this week. Let me know what you guys thought of SmackDown and your rating of SmackDown down below in the comments. You know, hit up the Discord server, link in the description. If you'd like to support me in the channel, you can do so over at Patreon. That'll be the first link in the description. My link to my Twitter is also down in the description. If you'd like to check out some of the other shit I do on the channel, I do primarily gameplay shit. Coincidentally, I do a GM mode where I book storylines. So if you'd like to see how I book storylines after I shit on storylines or praise storylines for an hour, you can go do that. You know, that's on my channel, as well as other gameplay stuff if you want to go check it out. Follow me. I already did the Twitter thing. Sponsor me, Peace Tea, obligatory Peace Tea sponsor me gimmick. You know what I mean? Got to keep it strong. Be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because YouTube likes to zuck your boy and not put my videos in your sub boxes. So by pressing that nice old bell icon, you'll get a push notification anytime I do upload, and you'll never have to miss it. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, share it to all your friends, comment down below, all that good shit. And I'll see you guys next time.